So you know one of the most terrifying things in VGC is when you see a Pokemon that you've never seen before on the opponent's team during setup. This Charjabug petrified me. I'm like, I have no idea what this is going to do or how to deal with this. And surprise, surprise, when we get into the game, this is what they lead off with. Charjabug and Duraludon. The Duraludon uses Protect immediately, which means I can't threaten it. I've just got to go for this Charjabug. I try and Air Slash it because it's got a 60% flinch chance or whatever it's going to do, and that really does protect itself quite well. The Sleep Powder bounces off, and then String Shot comes out to my two Pokemon, which harshly drops their speed, which is actually pretty good. I have to switch out Togekiss because Choice Scarf is now useless, but the Butterfree can at least still use Sleep Powder, which it does this time, hitting Duraludon. They use Volt Switch to break the sash on my Butterfree, and switch out. They switch into a Escavalier, and I decide to Dynamax my Sylveon to kill it in one hit as soon as possible. Charjabug comes in next turn, and they go to Dynamax. Duraludon is asleep. I'm thinking, oh my god, am I about to see a Charjabug Dynamax? No, the Duraludon does, and it falls asleep, just wasting a Dynamax turn, and then I Max Flare into the Charjabug to kill it. I'm thinking, although the Max Starfall is going to do more damage, I've got Butterfree in the back, so I don't want to get rid of my sleep ability. Seismitoad comes in again, and I shoot an Air Slash into it to try and get the flinch off on whatever it's going to do, but it doesn't get the flinch. They do manage to bounce out of here. Duraludon manages to wake up and almost kills the Togekiss, but we just about live. Next turn, the bounce comes down, and we manage to revenge kill it, but the Duraludon does almost take out our Togekiss. However, next turn we manage to sweep up completely. Next game starts completely differently. They've got Lapras with an immediate Dynamax. I Air Slash for Charjabug, not wanting to get my speed dropped again. We go for the Sleep Out on the Lapras, which hits and puts it to sleep, completely mitigating all of its Dynamax turns, which is absolutely broken. Next turn we double into the Charjabug because we're still scared of it, get the Sleep Off on it as well as the Air Slash, and then next turn we manage to kill it and the Lapras still hasn't woken up. So the Aurora Veil isn't going to be a threat this game, which reducing your opponent's Dynamax to 0 like this is so good. So it's going to wake up this turn because it was asleep for the whole Dynamax, so we managed to get the Air Slash off and flinch it as it wakes up, which is such a painful experience for our opponent. We forget Escavalier's Overcut ability, which prevents sleep, which wastes our Butterfree's turn, and then they get to knock off to get rid of our Focus Sash, but they would have done that anyway. Lapras goes for a Protect, but we don't care about that because we're just going to Dynamax with our Togekiss and go for the Heat Wave to take out this Escavalier in one hit. Next time we go for the Max Overgrowth, our secret Grass-like move on Togekiss, but it doesn't manage to take out Lapras in one hit, which is surprising, but at least we get to get the Butterfree's Sleep off. Lapras goes for a Thunder that deals basically no damage against me, and then we can up our speed next turn to kill the Lapras. And then go for a Pollen Puff to heal our Togekiss back to basically full. And then it takes about 5 or 6 turns for me to kill this Duraludon because we're using not very effective attacks, but between Sleep and Flinch, it goes down quite easily. So it turns out Charjabug wasn't as big a threat as I was scared of, but it's always nice to see something different, and that String Shot dictated the pace of the early game a lot, so I like seeing that. Game 2 was a completely different monster. In the first game, spoilers, I get absolutely annihilated by Adam. I go with Blastoise Butterfree, one of my usual starts, and the Tyranitar sets up a Sandstream. I'm thinking, I want to Dynamax immediately so I can set up the rain so I don't lose the Focus Sash on my Butterfree. They counter me pretty hard here. They go for a Follow Me on the Togekiss, which not only means that my Blastoise doesn't kill the Tyranitar, it only does about half to the Togekiss, but the Sleep Powder goes in as well, which is blocked by the safety goggles. A Rock Slide gets us down to our Sash range, and then they switch out their Tyranitar. They use Dazzling Gleam to take out our Butterfree, and we get a bit of chip damage on the Blastoise, whereas we Max Geyser to take out the Togekiss. I bring in Togekiss of my own. They switch out to Tyranitar, predicting my Air Slash attack, which means it does basically nothing, no chance of flinching, wasting my turn. I Max Darkness into this Gastrodon, but it doesn't deal enough damage. They use Yawn, which forces me to switch out next turn. I bring in Mimikyu and try to get a Water Spout off, thinking it might kill the Tyranitar, but it does basically nothing, and this is even worse because it gives the Gastrodon extra special attack and sets off the weakness policy. So this is a terrible result all around. Rock Slide comes out, breaks for Disguise, and does some more damage on my Blastoise, rendering it essentially useless at this point, and another Yawn means my Mimikyu is going to have to choose between switching out or getting one attack off. They go for the Protect, and Mimikyu uses his Play Rough into it. They predicted right, now my Mimikyu's asleep, my Blastoise is dead. This game's basically a wash. They finish me off with a Rock Slide, which takes out my Togekiss and my Mimikyu in one fell swoop. So we had a terrible first game, but we decided how are we going to mix it up for game 2 so things don't go quite as badly. And we managed to go for Butterfree Sylveon style. We know they got the safety goggles and the Sandstream. So we swap out our Butterfree, bring in the Mimikyu instead. We know it can at least take a hit if necessary. Our Sylveon's ready to use its Hyper Voice attack because that gets around Follow Me and is going to get some good damage on this Tyranitar. The Rock Slide comes out and does decent damage to the Sylveon and breaks our Mimikyu's Disguise, but then we get to use Hyper Voice, which is going to deal some decent damage to the Tyranitar and get around the Follow Me from Togekiss. Tyranitar Dynamaxes now has got his weakness policy off, and they go for Follow Me. We play off into the Togekiss, which leaves it with just a sliver of HP, which is so painful, and means our Mimikyu gets taken out quite easily by the Tyranitar. But then the Hyper Voice from our Sylveon does a good chunk of damage to the Tyranitar again, and puts the Togekiss down to nothing. So we bring in Togekiss and go for the Max Airstream to almost kill the Serena. which also buffs the speed on both of our Pokemon, so now Hyper Voice goes first and gets the double kill. This one play here basically decides the game. That speed boost was huge. All they've got left is a Gastrodon, and I've got my Max Overgrowth, which I know is going to kill it in one hit, but I've still got a game 3 to go, and that could be a good trump card, so I think I can probably kill it with the Max Starfall, plus then having the Fairy boost, the Sylveon's Hyper Voice, and if not, I can survive a turn of this Gastrodon's attack, so I decide not to reveal my Solar Beam at this point. Game 3 we have Serena and Togekiss against our Mimikyu and Sylveon. I go for the Sword Stance, thinking I can afford to set up against these, and they go for the Dazzling Gleam to break my disguise and get a bit of chip damage on the Sylveon. Now this I didn't expect. I didn't know how powerful the Serena was, and it kills my Sylveon in one hit, which really puts me on the back foot this game. I bring in Togekiss, which forces them to switch out because they know the Serena's going to die to the Air Slash. They bring out Gastrodon. I get a bit of chip damage on, and then I know how much damage Play-Rough is going to deal because of last game. So I know with a Swords Dance, it's going to one-hit KO this Togekiss, which puts me in a better position. They bring out Dragapult and Dynamax. I know it's going to be able to kill my Mimikyu first, so I go for a Shadow Sneak, which if it doesn't Dynamax, is going to kill it in one hit after the Swords Dance, but still does a lot of damage. As it turns out, they decide to go for the Togekiss, but as I Dynamax it in return, it doesn't have enough to kill me. This means I can get the Max Overgrowth off on the Gastrodon, which they didn't know about from last game, and take out in one hit without having to worry at all. I forget Serena's ability to stop priority moves, but they attack my Mimikyu anyway, so it wouldn't have made a difference in this case because it dies to the Max Phantasm. However, in return, it does die to its own life form, which leaves them with just Serrano on the field, which I can almost kill with this Max move. They then bounce out of there, wasting my last turn of Dynamax, and I have my Butterfree, which loses its Focus Sash. But because I know they're not there, I get a free Pollen Puff on my Togekiss, which makes me pretty confident that I'm going to live to the next turn. All that happens now is I double into them and manage to win. Even after that horrible Game 1, we managed to pull it back. Game 3, we've got Incineroar and Mimikyu versus Goodra and Togedemaru. Now, Goodra is a big problem for my team with all of that defense, so I bring in 2 physical attackers hoping I can take care of it swiftly. I go for the Fake Out on the Togedemaru, which switches out so I don't get enough damage on it. I try and play rough to see if I can kill it, but it looks like it's got defense investment, so it lives. They unfortunately break my Mimikyu's defense and go for a Flare Blitz next turn with a switch to an Arcanine to kill it, and then go for a Draco Meteor, which actually misses, which allows my Incineroar to get the revenge kill luckily, and they bring in Togedemaru. Togedemaru goes for the Fake Out, which actually doesn't do anything because I've Dynamax luckily. I go for the Max Flare into the Togedemaru, get it down to its Sturdy, which I didn't know it had, very relevant, then I go for a Parting Sword to switch out of my Incineroar and get this Arcanine down to half of its attack. Next turn, Togedemaru goes for the Nuzzle, which gives me Paralysis, meaning my Togekiss is now going to act last. This lets the Arcanine get off a Flare Blitz onto my Sylveon, which even after a Parting Shot and an Intimidate, almost kills me, which I wasn't expecting, so this was quite scary. I go for Hyper Voice next, which does some good damage on the Arcanine, doesn't quite kill, but gets the Togedemaru down. Sadly, Togekiss suffers to Paralysis. I go for the Quick Attack on the Arcanine, but they get the Protect off, and they Dynamax their last remaining full health Pokemon. I get some good damage into it, not as much as I'd like, but it's enough to leave a dent. They hit back with a max move of their own, and manage to take out my Sylveon. Incineroar comes back in, and I have a really bad move, because I forget Fake Out doesn't work under Psychic Terrain, so I miss the kill on the Arcanine, and I suffer to Paralysis under my Togekiss. They go for the Grass type move, which isn't very effective, I think because they want the healing. If they'd have killed Incineroar here, it might have been a better situation for them. Arcanine gets an attacking, which means it dies to its own recoil damage, and means the other 2 attacks can go into the Dynamax Pokemon and take Game 1. Game 2, we have just about the most uneventful turn 1 possible. I go for Protect on Butterfree, and they go for it on Primarina, and then they Fake Out my Incineroar. So basically nothing happens. I just didn't want to lose my Focus Sash on my Butterfree, so I'm okay with this turn 1. Next turn they switch out of their Togedemaru and bring in Reuniclus, and I get the Water Pokemon to sleep so it can't damage my Incineroar. I use Flare Blitz into the switching Pokemon, and it does a lot of damage, which means they have to get a Protect, otherwise they're going to die this turn as well. This lets me get a free Pollen Puff off on my Incineroar. Fantastic, we're back to full. They switch out again into Togedemaru, and I go for the Darkest Lariat on it after getting some chip damage in with Pollen Puff on the Primaria. They get an attack on Togedemaru before I finish it off with the Pollen Puff, or it does break my Butterfree Sash. Primaria finally wakes up, takes out the Butterfree, and leaves my Incineroar quite low. Next time I Dynamax my Togekiss, which lets it take the Wild Charge quite happily, and then shoot a Max Grass move into the Water Pokemon to finish it off. Incineroar uses Parting Shot to get rid of the Intimidate buff, and get the Arcanine looking a bit weaker. Reuniclus comes in and uses Protect, and the Arcanine breaks my Disguise. That's fine, because I was going to go into Arcanine anyway. After that, they decide they haven't got a hope of winning, knowing I've got Shadow Sneak, so they concede. And that's Game 6 of the series done. We're now 4-2, which is a pretty good score, all things considering this is my first tournament. If you'd like to see the last 3 games, let me know in the comments below, and if there's the support for it, I'll definitely be finishing off the series. I'd like to give a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters as well, Danny and Lucas for helping this video, and all the other ones be possible. Thank you very much. But that's it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe and maybe even ring that bell so you know when the next one comes out, or my other future content. I've got a fantastic guide to raising Pokemon coming up, and a specific guide for Butterfree, and you've seen in this video what a wrecking ball it can be, so you don't want to miss those. Like, subscribe, comment, and tell your favourite friend about Pokemon. Great. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.